This house is located 600 kilometers north of Stockholm, in the middle of nowhere. It was built in 1876, and strange and terrible things have happened here. This is Borgvattnet, Sweden's most haunted house. In 1947, a journalist heard rumors that there were strange sightings at the Borgvattnet rectory, so he contacted a local priest, Erik Lindgren, for a comment. Erik agreed to do an interview, and that was pretty much unheard of in Sweden in 1947, that a priest would talk openly about hauntings. During the interview, it was also mentioned that the church was gonna do a full-blown investigation into these hauntings. All of this put Borgvattnet in the spotlight, and this quickly became known as Sweden's most haunted house. So what kind of unusual sightings were going on in this house? Well, Erik, the priest from the interview, he moved in here all alone, and the very first night here, he heard scrapings from upstairs, as if someone was pushing around furniture. That made him quite surprised, because his things weren't moved here yet, so the floor upstairs was completely empty. The next day he heard footsteps outside and someone stomping their feet. He rushed outside to check, but there was no one here. Events like these continued, and one time Erik was sitting in a rocking chair and he was physically assaulted and thrown to the ground. He kept a journal of all of these events, and that's what he showed to the journalist and also to Bishop Bohlin, who confirmed that there would be a paranormal investigation of the house. After the interview with Erik, other people started confirming that Borgvattnet was indeed haunted. A priest called Rudolf Tengden said that he saw the ghostly apparition of a lady in grey walking through his room. A priest called Erik Lindgren said that he heard doors open and slam shut on multiple occasions, and he and his wife also heard music coming from behind closed doors. 3 ghostly crying ladies were seen by the lawyer Inga Flodin in 1941. She was on a business trip and spent the night here, and she was woken up in the middle of the night by these crying ladies. In 1908, Märta, the wife of the priest living here, died in childbirth in one of these rooms. The heartbroken priest missed her so much, so he delayed burying her. And then he delayed a little bit more. After a while, laundry started to be torn down in that room, and people got pinched and dragged around by the clothes. It's believed that this is Märta's ghost, because she died so suddenly and was kept there for just a little bit too long. I'm not just here to look at this haunted house, I'm also gonna spend the night here. And this is the room I'll be spending the night in, the pink room. Quite lovely, isn't it? Well, there's a story behind this room, and it's not really all that lovely. People say that a young unmarried maid got pregnant in the late 1800s, which by itself was pretty shocking, but even more shocking was that the father was a priest. After a while the pregnancy started to be visible, so the priest locked the maid inside this room until the baby was born. After that, legend has it that the baby was killed and buried somewhere outside this room. Both the maid and the child are still here. Or, well, their spirits are still here. It's been confirmed by previous owners of the house and guests as well that you can hear screams and a baby crying in this room. And when you turn your head, in the corner of your eye, you can sometimes see the silhouette of a child. I don't really believe in ghosts and spirits, but maybe I should be a little bit more careful. As a child, I grew up in a house in the south of Sweden, and there were some strange things going on with the upper floor. Many people felt a presence when they climbed up the stairs, and people sitting up there often said that they felt something from one of the closets. As a kid, I remember visitors fleeing down the stairs one time, terrified of something they had seen or heard or felt upstairs. I laughed it off at the time, but come to think of it, that house has now burnt down. So maybe I should be a little bit more respectful towards spirits and the afterlife. Anywho, time for me to go to bed, and I don't want to hear any screaming babies. And no crying women around my bed tonight, you hear me? If any spirits are listening, go haunt someone else so I get a good night's sleep. I hope you enjoyed this little look at Borgvattnet, Sweden's most haunted house. Like and subscribe, but most importantly, have a great day.